climate change, we all understand there is an urgent need to shift from yield maximization to sustainable productivity without compromising ecological integrity. To talk more on conserving biodiversity, promoting locally adopted crops, improving soil health, rainwater harvesting, and how to reduce the emission of GHG, I proudly invite Dr. M.L. Jat sir, Secretary DARE and Director General ICAR, and Dr. Shobha Shetty, Global Director, Agriculture and Food, World Bank, as the Honorable Chairs of the session. And I request Dr. Andrew Goodland to carry forward the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please, those coming into the room, please be seated. So, as just announced, we have a very interesting panel discussion lined up for you today, exploring strategies for transforming agri-food systems as we look forward to the Evergreen revolution. Our chairs, we have Dr. Jat, already taken his place. Shobha, please come as well. Dr. Jat, as people will know, is the DG of ICAR right here in Delhi, and it's a real pleasure to have you with us today. Shobha Shetty is the World Bank Global Director for Agriculture and Food, based in Washington, D.C. She's obviously no stranger to India. We have, yes, please, thanks, all panelists, please come up. We have Rajiv Bal, Secretary, Department of Health Research and DG for DHR and ICMR, New Delhi. We have Simeon Ehwi. He's the DG for IITA in the CGIAR. We have Purnima Menon from IFPRI here in Delhi. She's Senior Director for Food and Nutrition Policy and Acting Senior Director for Transformation Strategies. We have Mr. Ajay Jakar. He's here. He's Chairman of the Bharat Krishak Samaj here in Delhi. We have Mr. Dr. George Smith from Michigan State University. Dr. Shalanda Kumar, DG Research Program Director at ICRISAT. And finally, last but not least, Mr. Sudarshan Suchi, who's at Reliance Organization. So with this, just to let you know that this is going to be a panel discussion. I'll ask for chairs to make some initial comments and welcome and to help frame the issues, and then each of the panelists will have an opportunity to make some contributions. So with that, to Dr. Lau and Dr. Shetty, over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this very, very important session, Transforming Agri-Food Systems for the Better Nutrition. And as our Honorable Prime Minister emphasized on the nutrition, I think this is very, very important. And to deliberate on this topic, we have very, very important panelists across the globe. So I welcome all the panelists, and I would like to thank on behalf of the organizers for making it to be here to deliberate on this very, very important topic. I'll not take much of the time. Welcome everyone, and also welcome all the audience participants. It's very, very important because just after the lunch, sometimes it's very, very difficult, but I see everyone is so excited looking at this topic, and I request my co-chair, Dr. Shobha, to take over.
Very much, Dr. Jat. Distinguished colleagues and friends, it's my great pleasure to be here at this really important seminar, and in this particular session on transforming agri-food systems for better nutrition. I'm sure most of you have seen this outside. It's on several boards out there. It's something that Professor Swaminathan once said: if agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will have a chance to go right. So as we gather to mark his birth centenary under the theme of the Evergreen Revolution, these words resonate more than ever. And they remind us that true prosperity comes not from conquering nature, but from coexisting with it. And today we face a paradox that would have troubled him deeply. We produce enough calories to feed everyone, yet almost 300 million people face acute food insecurity. 2.8 billion people globally cannot afford a healthy diet, and almost 150 million children are stunted. At the same time, agriculture that's meant to nourish life has become a primary driver of environmental stress, having breached 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries. It is responsible for 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions, 2/3 of deforestation, 2/3 of freshwater use, and is a key driver for soil degradation and air and water pollution. These pressures will only increase with the need to feed 10 billion people by 2050 and the increasing impacts of climate change. But we celebrate the enormous contribution of the Green Revolution to global food security through its transformational impact on yields. Now, the Evergreen Revolution 2.0 must deliver yields with a capital Y, not just tons per hectare, but nutritional yield, ecological yields, and economic yields for smallholders. This is Dr. Swaminathan's vision of ecology, economics, and equity working in harmony. At the World Bank, we see 3 critical pathways to achieve this transformation, across which I hope the panel can also reflect upon. First, innovation and technology. The Green Revolution was driven by technological advances. The Evergreen Revolution will also be underpinned by innovation and technology. Not only at the farm level, but throughout the agri-food system, technology can improve productivity and resilience, increase efficiency, reduce waste, and conserve natural resources. The ecosystem for innovation is expanding, with partnerships between the public and private sector, fostering entrepreneurship, and harnessing the power of data and digital applications. Here in India, the World Bank is supporting digital agriculture applications in many states and nationally that help farmers optimize inputs, access markets, and manage climate risks. Second, policy frameworks and smart repurposing of public expenditures. Globally, governments spend around 800 billion annually on agricultural support and subsidies, but too much of this is channeled to subsidies that drive environmental damage, including excessive and unbalanced fertilizer use, over-extraction of groundwater, and incentives to grow crops ill-suited to local ecologies. We need to redirect these subsidies towards sustainable practices that reward farmers for building healthy soils, harvesting and conserving water, and enhancing biodiversity. We need to use public policy and budgets to achieve the goals of sustainable and remunerative farming and improve nutrition outcomes. At the World Bank, we are now working with over 40 countries to repurpose harmful farm subsidies and to channel agricultural support to better, for more sustainable, inclusive, and productive outcomes. We actually have projects ongoing in about 15 countries that are looking to influence almost $13 billion through our financing to repurpose agricultural support. We all know that every dollar invested in nutrition yields $23 in returns, yet nutrition rarely drives agricultural policy. This must change. Third, on the financing and private sector mobilization, public funds alone cannot transform food systems. I'm just back from the UN Food Systems Summit stocktake in Addis, and this was the constant message we heard throughout the 3 days that we were there. Critical for the Evergreen Revolution is to engage more with the private sector and to leverage private sector financing. Farmers need access to markets, they need access to finance, they need access to services and technologies that are not provided by the government. While the public sector is, of course, vital for infrastructure, for continued research and development expenditures and delivery of public goods, and for developing regulations and standards, a closer partnership with the private sector is a must. Smallholders and producer organizations need to be viable suppliers that can meet the scale, consistency, and the high standards that larger companies need. That's why the World Bank Group last October committed to double our agri-financing and agribusiness financing to almost $9 billion annually by 2030, with an additional $5 billion from private capital mobilization. I believe that the Evergreen revolution is within our grasp. It's my great pleasure to be here today to discuss these topics that are so fundamental to our future health, our economy, and the planet. Let me now turn to our distinguished panelists. And I start with, I don't know where Simeon is sitting. Oh, he's back there. Yes. So my former colleague and currently DG of IITA, Dr. Ewi. So the first question to you, what do you think success will look like to achieve the vision of an evergreen revolution, and how can we build global alliances to achieve this? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Shobha, and also ML Jat. I want to start by expressing my appreciation to the foundation, the Swaminathan Foundation, for inviting me to this international conference on evergreen revolution. I mean, being back to India, for me, bring back good memories, because I worked on this country, beautiful country, many years ago, and I had the opportunity to really interact with the eminent scientists and so on. So, first of all, I want to say that at IITA, and broadly speaking, the CGIAR, which is the biggest research and development network, we have long recognized that agriculture is not only about producing food, more food, but about nourishing people, about regenerating ecosystems, about securing livelihoods. So the Evergreen Revolution 2.0, as I see it, and based on Professor Swaminathan's thinking, it's not just about sustaining yield. We all know what the Green Revolution has done. It has ushered unprecedented gains in cereal productivity, but also we know that it brought with it a series of challenges like the ecological degradation, dietary imbalances, and widening inequities. So for me, Evergreen Revolution 2.0, as I see it, it really is based on it's about restoring, let's say, soil health. It's about diversity in our diets, and I'm sure my colleague Punima will talk about that. It's about bringing dignity to our farmers. Now, broadly speaking, I want to say that it's about shifting from extractive farming to regenerative agroecology. It's about replacing yield, as you said, Shobha, not small y, but a big y, the yield metrics, with comprehensive indicators like of nutrition, resilience, and equity. It's also about putting climate smart, gender inclusive, and biodiversity rich system at the heart of the food and security, food and nutrition security. Now, one of the most powerful levers of change is about revalorizing underutilized crops like climate resilient crops such as millet, pulses, oilseeds, and indigenous vegetables, which are important foods in India and Africa. IIT Sister Institute like ICRISAT is particularly pivotal in India's dryland agriculture, including research on millet, sorghum, chickpea, and pear millet. And with the Indian Institute of Millet Research and others, CGIAR has helped to spear a millet movement in India, reviving traditional millets as healthy, climate-resilient staples and further sources. The other point I want to also make is that we believe that nutrition-sensitive agriculture must go beyond, calories. It must ensure access to diverse, culturally relevant, and affordable food grown using methods that respect both people and planet. Within the CGIAR, at IITA, and also at ECOSAT, we integrate soil health restoration, renewable energy, water harvesting, and circular bioeconomy models into our research and delivery. Apart from, we are also piloting community-led nutrition gardens, climate adaptive cropping systems, and youth-led agribusiness hubs that demonstrate a real-world model of the Evergreen revolution. We promote use of biological and ecological methods, use of cover crops, legume-based rotations, conservation agriculture, and to build organic matter and microbial activity, integrated soil fertility management using organic inputs, compost, manure, combined micro dosing, soil mapping and diagnostic using digital tools like the Africa Soil Information Services to inform different interventions. I want to mention that because of this at IIT recently, we set up under the leadership of many African heads of state was something called the regional hub, for fertilizer and soil health for West and Africa and the Sahel, which is a collaborative venture to promote soil health and sustainable fertilizer use in the region. And basically there we are also, we want to emulate what India has done in the context of the soil health card scheme that India did to test soil samples and provide farmers with crop-wise nutrient and fertilizer recommendations, which has been quite successful. So, as part of our commitment to green, sustainable, and environmental friendly technologies, we use solar power irrigation system, cold storage, drying technologies, bioenergy production from agricultural residues and farm waste, transformation of crop and livestock residues into biofertilizers, feed, and energy, promoting a circular economy through composting, biogas digesters, and black soldier farming, fly farming, integration of deep irrigation, drip irrigation linked with the rainwater harvesting tanks, especially in vegetable value chain to boost productivity while conserving water. So, and I want to mention that personally, actually, I work on the sodic soil here in India, in Uttar Pradesh, in Barabanki, Adargaon, in around 2012 and 13, with famous agronomists like Paul Sidhu. That experience left a lasting impression and deepened my appreciation for India's innovation in sustainable land management. So, to come to Shoba, the broad question you asked, we need to work together, basically. We need to work together across continents, across sectors, across generations, to build agri-food systems that nourish all people, restore our earth, and bring bio-happiness to every village and every child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simeon. Well said. And really glad you brought up the opportunity crops, as we like to call them now, because of the strong implications, not just for nutrition, but also for women's work and women's empowerment, because a lot of these opportunity crops are farmed by women, like the millets and so on that you mentioned. So let me move to our next panelist, Dr. Rajiv Bal. Dr. Bal, many health outcomes are linked to diets and food. How do we ensure that the agri-food system is helping and not hindering improvements in public health?
Thank you, respected chairs, distinguished panelists, all the people present here. First of all, great pleasure to be here. I am Rajiv Behel, Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research and Secretary Department of Health Research. And talking about this issue of the intersection and the interface between agriculture, agri-foods and nutrition, which is, as Dr. Jat said, one of the most important issues that we are facing today, is critical because of the nutrition transition that we are seeing in India with the dual burden of malnutrition. So on the one hand, it was mentioned that a large number of children are wasted and stunted. A large number of people, I would say about 20% of people would be considered in India to be undernourished. Anemia, 40 to 50% of women and children are facing anemia, are suffering from anemia, which is a huge issue again as to how to solve this problem. But that's the one side of the story. The other side of the story is the increasing burden of obesity, overweight. We have about a quarter of Indian population that is above 25 kg per meter square BMI, at least which means is overweight by any international standard, and by Indian standards, so it's obese. So we face this 20% on one side and 25% on the other side, and not only obesity. The surveys conducted by, national surveys conducted by the Indian Council of Medical Research are showing that up to 25% of Indians are having hypertension. 1 in 10 people have diabetes. And dyslipidemia is close to even more than 50%. So all these non-communicable diseases, as we are seeing the increasing mortality and morbidity due to cardiovascular disease, liver disease, kidney disease, is all linked with some of these issues related to metabolic problems that we are facing. So on both these sides, food and nutrition are extremely important. So while we have made great progress in making sure, as was said by the chair, that we have reached more food security, and certainly in India, with the food grains being provided to more than 81 crore people under the National Food Security Act, we are facing less and less of extreme food insecurity. However, there is the side of balanced nutrition, balanced food and quality food. So recently conducted National Household Consumer Expenditure Survey showed that there was a substantial increase in India. For the first time, a reduction in cereals, which has been the mainstay of our kind of food and nutrition system, but a reduction in the expenditure on cereal for the first time, and an increase in healthier foods like fruit, vegetables, meat, milk, eggs, etc. However, it also showed a very disturbing trend in that a very sharp increase both in rural and urban areas of consumption of ultra-processed foods, sugared drinks, and high salt, high sugar, high fat foods, mostly processed foods. So all these ultra-processed foods are clearly linked with increasing burden of non-communicable diseases. So while on the one hand we are producing or spending a little less on cereal, which is one of our problems, an average Indian eats 300 to 400 grams of cereals a day, which is quite substantial and also causes quite a few nutritional health issues. But we are increasing healthier foods, but at the same time the ultra processed foods are increasing at a more rapid rate. So this really puts us in a very difficult situation with regard to making progress on both ends. What is absolutely required is, as I said, quality and balanced food plate. And this quality and balanced food plate has one other dimension that I want to end with. What is happening is that the healthier foods are getting more expensive, and the less healthy foods are cheaper and are made available to everybody very easily. And this dilemma where any food, when you convert it, it becomes a superfood. Millets are now more expensive than any other cereal. You can take any n number of examples, quinoa or any other food that is considered to be healthy is much more expensive. Fruit and vegetable is more expensive. Dal and lentils are more expensive than other foods that people can easily get calories from. And this is where we need to make sure that the food systems, the agriculture as well as the food processing, is going in the direction of producing foods that are more healthy. At the same time, we need to still get rid of a lot of undernutrition that exists in the country because of inequity. So I'll stop there. Thank you very much, and very happy to hear everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bell. Let me move on to Purnima. Purnima, healthy diets are a critical goal for the agri-food system, and we heard some of the sobering statistics from Rajiv. What are the challenges, in your view, of achieving this, and what measures may be taken?
Thank you, Shobha. But let me, open by honoring Professor Swaminathan. It is an incredible honor for us to be here today. I had the great privilege of working with him all the way since 2007-8, when he took a deep, deep interest in the nutritional state of India and brought together hundreds of people from across the board to release and develop a leadership agenda for action in nutrition. And those of us who were part of that journey with him, I think have only gratitude for the energy and the relentless sort of optimism that he brought. He really brought to the power of people working together to achieve better nutrition in India. A lot of the successes that we see today in this country in terms of scaling up actions for nutrition came from the seeds that he planted for that movement when he really took on the agenda of bringing people together. So, Soumya, thank you for having us here. Thank you for putting nutrition so sharply on the agenda. We have nowhere to go but forward on something as challenging as this. At IFPRI we work on policy, and as I like to tell everyone, policy lands on our plates in every single meal, at every single moment that you eat. Whatever you put in your mouth or has landed on your table has experienced some policy behind it. And so it's really quite important that we pay attention to what is happening in diets, why that is happening, why are people choosing the foods that they're choosing, What is it we learn about the drivers of people's diets that actually really takes us towards identifying entry points and opportunities for policy? So Shobha, you asked about challenges, but I'd really prefer to talk about opportunities and entry points because, I think we are in a world where we have tremendous opportunities to reshape what's happening on people's plates by using the power of policy. Let me give you a couple of examples. And they come from joint work that we've been doing with MSSRF, which will be available in public domain soon, precisely on identifying these policy entry points. Where we are in the world today really reminds us that there are many things that we can actually move very swiftly on to be able to make change that is not very difficult to do and not necessarily expensive to do, where the policy directions are very clear. There is no debate whatsoever that you need strong labeling laws, that you need marketing regulations that prevent this relentless promotion of ultra-processed foods, that you need awareness campaigns to strengthen how people see what foods they should eat for their health. These are things that governments can invest in and must do and must move really fast on. Now, there are many other policy entry points that, that we've been discussing, debating, and co-creating, if you will. And on many of those, we don't actually have the evidence that we need. So, for example, in India, we don't fully know what the impact is of things like the sin taxes, if you will. We don't know if we tax ultra-processed foods, what the impacts of those will be. That's an important area to study and to do some policy research. We hear a lot about making our public distribution program, which is reaching so many people and solving problems of basic hunger. There are many, many, many ideas and entry points for making it more nutrition sensitive, but we don't quite know which ones work within a very constrained fiscal environment. Let's never forget that governments are operating with very tight budgets, and if we want to provide policy directions that are game changers, we have to understand how financing works for many of these social safety nets. So how do we actually diversify food safety nets to deliver healthy nutrition outcomes? How do we do so within the laws, policies, and budgetary constraints that exist? These are really important policy research questions that we need to make. Shobha, your question on how to redeploy subsidies probably is the biggest elephant in the room. And it affects people really profoundly. I think again, we honor, जो इस रूम में किसान भाई बहन हैं, आप सबको भी हार्दिक नमस्कार. We honor you because your work is affected by the subsidies that governments put in place and is affected by changes that are made there. We've seen that. I'm sure Ajay will speak to it in a bit. And so, I think there are some areas where it's going to be a little bit more tricky to identify the right policy entry points, but there are many others where we need to move, and we need to move really, really fast. So I see opportunities more, and I'd like to see us seize those opportunities, else we will get locked into discussing challenges and not moving forward. I want to call for a research investment as well, because like I said, when we make change, that change has impacts on many different people in our food system, and we really need to understand that as it unfolds so we can redirect as needed. Thank you again so much for having us here and for the great partnership. Thank you again, Soumya, especially. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Purnima. Let me move on to the farming side, Mr. Ajay Jakhar. Farmers' prosperity must be at the heart of the agri-food system, and farmers are the guardians of the planet. So how can we achieve the multiple goals of farmer prosperity while also delivering safe, sustainable, and nutritious food to consumers?
Distinguished chairs, ML Jatsa, panelists, and all the participants today, a very good afternoon. I thank the Foundation for giving me the opportunity to speak here. I prepared some points to speak, but listening to the other panelists, I have jotted down new points. And so I will just go off of the script a bit. But foremost, I want to thank the Prime Minister for reassuring the farming community that India will not succumb to pressure from people like Trump. I really thank the Prime Minister for that. Today morning, the Prime Minister very clearly spelled out the production gains that India has achieved in the hierarchy of having maximum production, second highest levels, third highest levels in various crops. As a farmer, I think that is not enough. There is a difference between production and productivity. As the Prime Minister said, farmers have delivered on increasing production. But as a farmer, I'd also want to state in ICR that scientists have still not delivered on productivity. And to achieve an evergreen revolution, we need to be focusing not on production, but on productivity per unit. And there may be disagreements on it, but that's exactly why we are here. If everyone was to agree on everything, there was really no reason to be here. Similarly, I think there are fundamental issues about achieving an evergreen revolution, especially in India. The policymakers in India have got their principles wrong. We have not changed policies for 50, 60 years. We are with the same policy, and we are talking about achieving self-sufficiency. As a farmers' organization, Bharat Krishak Samaj thinks, and based on talking to people like those present on the dais and in the audience, that our objective should not be self-sufficiency, but it should be strategic autonomy in nutrition production, which means that we don't have to try and achieve to grow everything in the country. We should do what we are good at, and that's the second point. Lack of systems thinking is pushing Indian agriculture into a deeper quagmire. And I think to achieve an evergreen revolution, we need systems thinking in food systems especially. ML Jat Sahab, I'm very happy to say that Bharat Krishak Samaj pioneered food systems thinking in India. We held the first annual event in 2019, and we have held a food systems thinking event dialogue for 7 consecutive years. Even in the COVID years, we did it in an online mode. Today, everybody talks about a systems approach, but I have not still been able to grasp the nuances of a systems approach, and I think it's greatly lacking, and without that, we will not be able to achieve evergreen revolution. The other thing to achieve an evergreen revolution, and this I say on behalf of farmers to the chair, that we farmers have to unlearn a lot that we have been taught by the formal system in the country. It's not possible to make a shift if we don't unlearn what we've been taught. What we are being taught in universities and colleges, we learn, then we come to conferences like this, and we are told that we need to not do that, we need to do something different. So we need an overall of what we are being taught in universities. We need investment in human resources. We do not need classrooms. We do not need, brick and mortar. We need to focus on human resources. To achieve an evergreen revolution, that is what is required. Also, to achieve an evergreen revolution, Soumya ji, what I think is required is that beneficiaries must be allowed to assess government programs from which they're supposed to benefit from. For example, if there are programs for farmers, then farmers must be allowed to assess those programs so we can give the real picture. Because otherwise the Prime Minister's office, I see some PMO written there. So otherwise the Prime Minister's office will never know the truth. They will believe what the ministry is telling them. The minister will believe what the bureaucrats are telling them. The bureaucrats will believe what the states are telling them. And it's a continuous lie we all know, and we tend to look over. So we as Bharat Krishak Samaj have insisted on this, and I would take this opportunity to say that programs of the government, including ICR, should allow themselves to be assessed by beneficiaries, such that those programs can be tweaked to deliver, and we should not be scared of failure. We should be happy to learn of a failure so we can change the system. And I think so, there's no end to what one can speak, but I'll just end by saying one or two things that what sounds nice is not necessary. See, when we say in the food systems, UN Food Systems Summit, I was the vice chair of Action Track 2 on diets, on healthy diets. One of the things we asked there was about closed food loops. We asked about kitchen gardens. We asked about backyard poultry. And Lawrence Haddad, who was heading Action Track 1, he said, show me the proof and we will put it there. So I said, as a farmers organization, I can't get proof. Then we went to FAO literature. FAO literature very clearly states that we've not researched, there's no research on closed food loops by FAO. There is no research on backyard poultry at FAO. There is no research on kitchen gardens. So if we do not research what we require, we will not learn what we need to do. As Purnima says, we need more nuanced research coming in. We came up with, and I'm giving you just one example before I finish, we came up with this idea of, for a closed food loop for midday meal schemes, that eggs should be procured from the village or adjoining villages and delivered to the children in school because they're nutritious, they're safe to eat, and they're quick to boil and give it. It's less adulteration. Then one of the meetings at the finance ministry, one of the bureaucrats said, we can always procure them from the poultry industry. I said, that's the problem. In a systems thinking, it's not the egg which is the main issue. It is also the procurement of the egg. From where do you get the egg for the midday meal scheme? So till we don't assess ourselves, this is how it will happen. And lastly, I would want to say that, and this is important to be said because I believe Agnes Kalibata is going to be here. I think I read her name that she's going to be here. And in 2019, just when COVID hit, we had proposed to her, and this is what I'm saying again, is that the world has much to learn from India's green revolution. And this goes out specially to the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa. Don't make the mistakes we did. Learn from other people's mistakes. Don't make your mistakes and learn about it. And I go out to all the developing countries that don't allow public policy to be influenced from outsiders. Don't allow private philanthropic organizations to influence policy. The government needs to build capacity of its own policymakers, its own scientists, own administrators, and be careful of consultancy firms. Thank you so much. That's from a farmers organization.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jakar, for those very provocative, but indeed, things, topics on which, I think we all need to reflect on, and especially what you said on the research side, where we don't have the evidence base, but we do need to build that evidence base, and of course, as you said, having beneficiaries evaluate a lot of the schemes and the projects to give some honest feedback so that we have a closed loop on that as well, to improve the design and delivery of many of our schemes and projects. But let me move on now to Dr. George Smith. Dr. Smith, you're from a leading global think tank on issues related to the resilience and sustainability of our agriculture and food systems. So what key lessons or opportunities do you see as critical for achieving an evergreen revolution?
Well, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. I want to thank the organizers for the opportunity to participate in this highly prestigious forum, and I'm here to say that I feel that Dr. Swaminathan's vision for nutrition security and an evergreen revolution is in fact possible, but we all have work to do. But it can be achieved if we work together. So in that spirit, I want to say, first of all, that Michigan State University is committed to working with partners in India and across the globe to address the societal problems of food and nutrition security, now and in the future, despite the political headwinds that you might hear coming out of Washington, D.C. So enough about that. Yeah, so the question is, what is the lessons that have been learned to ensure resilient and sustainable agriculture and food systems? We have challenges. We have challenges in my home state of Michigan. We have challenges in the U.S. We have challenges across the globe. But I think they're really common challenges. And there is a foundation from which to work from. One of the big challenges is climate change. When I asked our farmers 10 years ago about climate change in the state of Michigan in the U.S., they're like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. What is this? No more. No more. All of our farmers are experiencing the impacts of extreme weather, the impacts on their operations, their impacts on yields, and the impacts on their livelihood. And so now we're hearing from our farmers, what can you do to help? What can you do to help create more resilient agriculture and food systems? So they have a economically sustainable future for their operations and their children's operations and their children's operations. So that's one big challenge, and we're addressing that from a whole host of perspectives and approaches, everything from selecting crops that are more resilient to extreme weather, to new production paradigms like regenerative agriculture, which have tremendous advantages from a sustainability perspective and from a resilience perspective in the face of extreme weather. Advantages in terms of water retention capacity, advantages in terms of less inputs, advantages in terms of enhancing biodiversity and things like that. But programs like that can't be implemented overnight. It is hard, as my colleague here said, to implement change. And there's some barriers to that. So I think the real key to promoting resilience and sustainability in our agriculture and food systems is winning over the hearts and minds of our farmers, winning over the hearts and minds of our consumers, winning over the hearts and minds of our policymakers, and winning over the hearts and minds of our lenders, that we can and we should do things differently. And when we ask our farmers to do things differently, to adopt new production practices, they can't assume all the risk for that. There has to be assurances. The credit system has to be set up to de-risk. The markets have to be set up to make sure that there's an advantage to their operations of incorporating new production practices and paradigms. Because farmers deal with so much uncertainty as it is to begin with. Uncertainty in terms of weather, uncertainty in markets. We have to remove that risk for them. We need to win over the hearts and minds of our policymakers to think a little bit more holistically. Is investment in crop insurance the only answer to helping our farmers survive, or are there incentives to implement new, more resilient production practices that can really have an impact? And what does it take to achieve those in terms of an investment, not only in research and in people? Extension can get that information out to farmers where it can be applied. And finally, we have to win over the hearts and minds of our consumers. A big focus of this conference is on nutrition security. This is a huge problem in the United States. As my colleague down there mentioned, we have the same issues. Over 40% of the people in the U.S. suffer from metabolic disease. The National Institutes of Health spends more money on research into metabolic disease and hypertension than the entire budget for agricultural research. So what's a better key to solving those problems? Focusing on treatments or focusing on prevention? Agriculture research and producing healthy foods and educating our consumers on how to produce meals with healthy foods to make it easier, make it simpler, that's a better investment in my mind than all the money that's going into research at the NIH. We can do so much more with a bigger investment in agricultural research, but it doesn't stop there. We also need to make sure our scientists are vested in doing the type of research that our farmers, ranchers, and growers really need. Technology is great. We've made tremendous advancements in technology, but sometimes simpler questions can have a much bigger impact if our scientists are willing to address those questions. So making sure our research agenda is grounded on what our farmers actually need. So accomplishing all these things, I believe Dr. Swaminathan's vision is achievable, but it's going to take all of us, and partnerships across countries, across the globe are key. Thank you.
Dr. Smith, and especially for underscoring the similarities in some of the double burden of nutrition, the malnutrition, especially that we see in India, as well as in the US on the obesity and NCDs, which take up a lot of public expenditures that could be better spent. So let me move on now to Dr. Shailendra Kumar. Dr. Kumar, as Mr. Jackett just mentioned, the Evergreen revolution requires thinking about the sector as a system, so thinking about food systems rather than just production. So what are the critical elements in your view of the agri-food system, and how can they be strengthened?
Thank you very much. And first of all, my sincere thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be here in this important meeting associated with the great Professor Swaminathan. I just want to mention one small moment. I think I met him only for 2 minutes once in my lifetime in a conference, and when I met him, those 2 minutes, I'm really truly, I want to share that he met me as if we know for last 100 years. So that kind of impression I got when I met him just for a moment when we were just passing through. About the point we are discussing today, I think very, very important point, but a lot has been said right from the morning speech from the Honorable Prime Minister. And of course, the story of India is both a triumph in terms of what we have achieved, but also I think all of the speakers have been mentioning in terms of the constant challenges and threats of the degradations of resources, malnutrition or nutritional deficiencies, climate change. But also, if you look at the sustainability, the average farm income or income in the farm sector or the non-farm sector is more than twice as compared to the farm. So that's also a very critical element of sustainability. But another thing is that currently we are operating into a surplus, the production surplus, food surplus or agriculture surplus environment. So the thought process has to really change what we were doing before in 70s or 80s. But yes, so to address all these complexities and the complex situations and to reach to what we want to achieve, the sustainable food systems, we really need a complete transformation from production-focused agriculture to a comprehensive agri-food systems to optimize simultaneously the 3 dimensions of economic viability, the human health outcomes through diverse diets, and environmental sustainability. So many things in terms of but these are the overarching. And I'm really happy that at the highest level there is an intention and that is policy priority, but it has to be really implemented on the ground, as the Prime Minister mentioned in the morning. And so to achieve, I believe there is a need for reorienting the research, repurposing policies and institutional innovations, but also an unprecedented level of coordination among different departments and ministries, right from water and agriculture, the fertilizers, nutrition, climate change, rural development, animal husbandry, and then the private sector and industry. But these 3, I just take a few minutes. The research orientation, we really must shift towards the integrated systems thinking, where we are looking at the bundled value chain solutions. So we are talking about not only the farmers, but the value chain actors. So unless we really address the issues of the all value chain actors, we cannot benefit the farmers. So in fact, the breeding programs need to prioritize not only the nutrition and the regenerative, but also the regenerative systems alongside yield. There's a lot into it, actually, I cannot explain that. But then the resource use efficiency research need to optimize the resource use across the entire watershed or landscapes. The value chain innovations, which is leading towards the One Health and the circularity, because everything cannot happen, but there is a need of changing the mindset. But I think all of us who are sitting here and outside this room in the policy and different scale, if we start working on that kind of mindset and that process, I think we can achieve. The digital innovations and appropriate business models which can really harness the value of these AI and ML, drone, real-time data, and this can be really equalizer, can be very cost effectively we can achieve for the small farmers. And then the local, how do we really strengthen local food systems? A lot has been said about that, and the waste to wealth initiative. But these will not really work as standalone programs, but it has to be really integrated into the regular planning and action of the government or the different stakeholders. The another point I want to make is the repurposing policies, as I said. So how do we really repurpose the agricultural subsidies or support, which support the sustainable practices and market-driven production and market-driven demand, which is also lead to the nutritious food. For that, I think it's again, but underlying, I think bottom line has to be whatever policies we make in terms of repurposing, the farmer's income has to be really cannot be affected. The farmer income should not be affected. So by achieving or maintaining and ensuring the farmer's income not changing but then repurposing, I think the farmer income can increase. The true cost accounting for energy and water resources can really correct some of those distortions. But again, not affecting the cost of production. It's possible. Already some speakers said on eco-labeling and the green credit systems. If we are able to really operationalize these things, they can operate. That can really can encourage this agri-food systems approach for achieving. Another one is the institutional innovations. Just 1 or 2 minutes I will take. The farmers, producers, organizations we are talking about, cooperatives, women SHGs. I think these need to align with the agri-tech startups and anchored by the National Agriculture Research and Extension System. And especially the agri-tech startups, I think Honorable Prime Minister highlighted that these new entities really need the support from the National Agriculture Research System a lot, and then they can really support our mission. And then, in fact, actually, if we can promote or kind of thinking at the decentralized level, as maybe a food system task force at the cluster level, are also feeling globally that this is needed. So are also feeling globally that this is needed. So I feel that if we take that systems approach, we can really achieve and make a good progress in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar. And last but not least, let me move to Mr. Sudarshan Suchi. Mr. Suchi, the private sector needs to drive forward the agriculture and food sector and align with the goals of the Evergreen Revolution. So where do you see the emerging opportunities for the private sector in this Evergreen Revolution?
Thank you, and thanks to the organizers also for giving me the space. First and foremost, a disclaimer, that is the panel discussions post-lunch. That's a whammy for me. Second is panels, irrespective of topics, can float anywhere. So chances are before you, whatever had to be said had already been said, especially if you are the last speaker. And then there is this restlessness, when is all this going to get over from the audience? So in the midst of all that, I'm going to ask your indulgence for a few minutes. First, a context. You know what Dr. Behel was narrating on the statistics? Bulk of the numbers come from rural marginal communities, which are mostly farming communities also. So the irony there is the producer is the person lacking nutrition. An average producer smallest one could produce for more than 3-4 families. And there's this contradiction, why is there lack of nutrition there? That's one. And the second part of the context is, I just wanted to share, recently I was at Bhadrak in Odisha, where I met Mr. Gajendra Behera. What is it about him? Mr. Gajendra Behera, he mentioned, could not clear class 10. And he was introduced to me as Orissa University of Agriculture Technologies formally appointed professor of practice. I thought it was one of the most brilliant things I had ever come across in recent past. That knowledge was the wealth that was being respected. I thought these are two things to build on in terms of looking at nutrition and way forward. I also have a wish from MSSRF and Dr. Soumya that I hope the 125th year, we have a seminar, we prepone it by 3 years to 2047, coinciding with Viksit Bharat, and we meet here, and we have a gallery where we look at a museum of the whole thing of nutrition or the lack of it. So we've got the next 25 years to address that so that we can banish this topic to museum rather than wondering what is to be done. We should be crediting on what all we could do and achieve. Now, in that context, you asked about private sector. I think the issues we are talking about, and I put across this as what we must as citizens of India and for Viksit Bharat, what we must do. It's about dreaming of a Viksit Gaon and what will it take. I think from Reliance Foundation perspective, I would recommend that together we should look at it more like a social development context and not nutrition in isolation. Because everything happens in a rural poor household altogether. These don't exist in rows, columns and cells of Excel sheet. So that's what is being called for. And I think we should be looking at not tradition versus technology, but traditions which are enabled by technology. And in that context, I think the private sector as such, we, and again I speak from the organization I represent, we believe that the issue is not about funding or resources. The issue is about locally led designs, building capabilities and engaging with a stickiness factor, that organizations are there with communities walking through journeys. One of you quoted Dr. Swaminathan in terms of, if agriculture goes wrong. And we have plenty of farming community here, and I'm sure most will say, actually year after year, whatever can go wrong goes wrong for them. By season, by climate, by production, by productivity. You have greater production, you have lesser price. You have lesser production, you don't get adequate. So these are the contexts under which I think the private sector, which has succeeded, let's say, in bringing systems, processes at scale in businesses, that's where we need to engage with the communities. But I'm not saying that one side knows it all. It's a togetherness, it's a collaborative effort that needs to be done, and to be done together with a humility that, again, from the morning I heard the Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister of Agriculture mentioning about the concern for climate change. So now, how are all these things to be wedded together? I think we need a strong value chain and a market intervention where again private sector can contribute a lot. I think on the whole, instead of dividing this and compartmentalizing as private, academic, farming and others, we all need to come together to do it at a scale and in a proportion holistically as has not been attempted before. For example, I mean, some of my previous speakers talked about, the lack of incentives for agriculture or production or productivity. I would put it this way, that if you look at it along with the climate context, two of the biggest wealths for a country which rural farming communities provide is not just food, actually three of them: air, water and soil. These are three things which are not costed at all. Year after year, by sheerly sticking to farming, they ensure that these are three contributions made to the country. Rest of us are able to enjoy it as a result. But it's not something for which a farmer gets remuneration. How much water does 1 acre conserve? It's lakhs of liters. How much soil does a cropping prevent from running off? A soil which takes 1 million years to cultivate. How much do they contribute to the environment protection? So I think the brainstorming we need to do is, why should a farmer want to do farming? What is it rest of us in the economy can play a role? And I think towards that, the narrative should shift from food security to nutrition security to having a holistic engagement and looking at nutrition security not just as a food issue, but an issue of a community or a household fulfilling its aspirations across board, whatever their needs are. It won't be addressed in isolation. And on the whole, I think corporate again can help bring investments in R&D, in research, in looking at long haul issues in terms of every component of agriculture. But if I have to single out everything else, I think investing in building capabilities and investing in locally led solutions. I mean, thinking big can happen even by acting small, and I think that's the marriage between corporate context and local community context that I think can be the biggest game changer, that can be a contribution to the country as a whole. And I look forward to meeting in 2047, looking at that gallery. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suchi. Unfortunately, we are almost out of time, but let me take this opportunity. First of all, I think, to give a big hand to our distinguished panelists who have really, I think, provided us with a lot of food for thought, pun intended, from the multidisciplinary perspectives that the vantage points that they come from. So thank you all very much for this really interesting panel that I had the privilege of chairing today. And secondly, I'd like to thank MSSRF and in particular Dr. Swaminathan for inviting me to chair this panel. It's been really a great honor for me to be here on the occasion of Dr. Swaminathan's centenary celebration, and I hope to be able to participate in many more. For the last word, let me hand it over to my co-chair, Dr. Jat, for his closing remarks. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shobha. First of all, let me admit it was truly a rich and diverse panel from all aspects, bringing the essence of the food system. So my compliments to the organizers for bringing the panelists from the diverse background, from agriculture to the health to the nutrition, farmer to the private sector. I think as you mentioned about the system, and I think the first and foremost priority is that we need to realize the system. The realization is not that much yet. And when we talk about system, from the perspective of the 3 P's of the sustainability, as our Honorable Prime Minister also mentioned in the morning, the people, the planet, and the profit. And that profit drives the system. And I think in that context, when we talk about the agri-food system, we truly need to look at the local food system. And our Honorable Prime Minister says, vocal for local. And I think that local is first the local food system. We have lost our local food system. We had very rich diet, even in my childhood. But we have lost, as Rajiv ji you mentioned, the junk food, which is a problem. So I think we need to look at the agri-food system from a broader perspective, not only food. But I think agri-food system in the context of health. And you mentioned about the affordability of the nutritious food. So when it comes to farmer to pay for a nutritious food, we are reluctant. But when we go to the doctor and the medical shop, we pay there. I think we need to realize the farmer is a doctor. And until we consider that, there is a problem. The second aspect, when we talk about agri-food system, it comes to the human capital. We have grown up in a system when we were struggling for food. And we designed our whole system focusing on certain commodities. And we have lost the system. To rebuild that, we need human resource capital, which got us systems thinking. So I think we need to invest more on the human capital in a true systems perspective. The third one is, when we talk about the system, it's just not agriculture. We need to think about transdisciplinary, trans-ministry, trans-department, because agriculture is just not agriculture. It's connected to many of those aspects, and they are interconnected. So until we consider all those things while designing the system will not work. So truly we need that kind of system that needs a whole lot of new thinking. And the fourth one is prioritization. And when I say prioritization, it's not like we are not having investment. There's a whole lot of investment. But are we investing at the right place on the right aspect? So the prioritization of the investment and repurposing the investment from a systems perspective is very, very important. Obviously, we need more investment in agriculture research because we have new challenges and we have a systemic challenges, more complex, which need systemic solutions that need investment. And the newer aspect of the research, for example, agriculture and health, I think we can't have a line between. They are all connected. So we need holistic research. I think when we talk about system, we need to think about the whole, not the part. And that whole include everything. And we really need to think from that perspective. And in that case, as you mentioned, Ajayji, we need not to produce everything what we eat. Or every farmer need not to produce what they eat. I think we need to design the system which is sustainable. And not only in a village or in a district or in a state or in the country, but I think between the countries. And in that perspective, if we design our system, I think trade plays an important role. So we also need to think about the trade in terms of we really want sustainable system between the countries. So that's another aspect. And finally, I think discovery to delivery continuum. So when we discover, we should be based on the demand and demand of the system, not my demand. So the discovery based on the demand of the system and delivery based on the context. And that continuum is something important. So these are a few of the reflections based on what panelists have indicated. And I think we can have a little detailed report of the session. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
So thank you very much, Honorable Chair and respected speakers, for taking us through that insightful talk. And now I request Dr. Andrew Goodwell and Dr. Oliver to please felicitate our Honorable Chair of the session along with the speakers with a small gift. And then we'll be having a good photograph at the center.
Thank you so much. Something to carry. I hope it's coming out of
We should get
I request Honorable Chair and the speakers of the session to please step forward for a group photograph.
तो अरे मीडिया वाले कभी भैया उन्हें ले लो फोटो फिर डोलोगे अरे कि जनता चली जाएगी उठ के क्या फोटो ले लो को हाँ हाँ ये चार
Thank you all very much. So now we'll break for tea. The tea has been served in the basement of this very hall, and after that we'll split in 5 parallel sessions. So let me announce the session. Session 1 is actually a workshop. It is on farmer's voice moving towards biohappiness, and that will be conducted in AP Shinde Hall. The second parallel session will be in Hall C1 on new technologies for agriculture. Likewise, session 3 on enabling environment for Evergreen revolution, global and national policies, that will be held in Akash Hall. Session 4 on building the next generation of leaders in Hall C2, and Session 5 in Prithvi Hall on sustainable development in a warming world. So the guide chart has also been displayed outside. After these parallel sessions get over, there will be poster sessions from 6 to 6:30 p.m. in the Convention Center reception lobby area, and we need to reassemble in this very hall sharp at 6:30 for the last keynote session of the day. Thank you all for your patient listening, being a good audience, and see you all at 6:30, and you are free to join with whichever session you want to. Thank you all.
Exactly. So I don't have a ticket there, but so we can, yeah. But we'll connect.
We have a big meeting over at the Ministry of Finance tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to come.
I see.
Yeah. The next phase of rural livelihood.
1.5 billion.
That was an excellent session.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm from Michigan State.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
Very good, yeah.
Oh, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
How are you? Thanks so much. I ran out of cards.
I know, at these events, always got to carry some extra ones.
I like your job designation.
Yes, me too.
Inventor.
Yeah, like, I'm more than a just like a hat. For this easily, what are you doing? I'm also like I have a company.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, people remember you. I have a...
Yeah, exactly. I have another session, so I need to run over for that. So hopefully, oh yeah. No, my panelist was giving, I had to do a message.
People remember me, I have a...